road.cc Recommends is back, and we once again have the best cycling products that we actually rate. There's also a recommended cafe and route, but stick around to the end to find out which bit of kit we awarded our product of the month.
Well, before we jump in, I think it's worth a quick reminder that our products here come from our reviews. No brand can ever pay for a review, and they don't get a say in the inclusion of a product in this show. So you know that everything you see here has earned its place.
Yeah, it's actually this month quite relaxed. We've only got 6 products that made the grade, so you can't just say we dole these things out.
No, we're definitely tough critics here.
Right, let's start with the Canyon Ultimate CF SLX 8 Di2.
You actually said it this time.
CF SLX 8, CF SL8, CF SL8. Okay, so basically what we have here is an aero race bike that balances aerodynamics, climbing, handling. Canyon says it's kind of not the best of any of them, but it's kind of the best combination.
Wait, did you just say it was an aero race bike? I thought it was a climbing bike.
Yeah, they've kind of made a race bike, let's say. So the Ultimate was always the climbing bike. This one's actually a little bit heavier. You can't really tell the difference. I think our review bike was 7.2 kg.
That's not bad.
With Ultegra and pretty deep wheels. So realistically, if you are someone like us that goes out and rides kind of all types of terrain, mixes it in group rides, does a bit of racing,
or if
club
you're Enric
rides.
Mas or someone like that, Valverde.
Yeah, maybe.
Good for them as well.
I am not going to compare us to them. I think this is a brilliant all-round bike. The spec is perfect. It really is. You get a power meter included. It's only a left-hand side power meter, but personally I think they're absolutely fine. Deep section wheels, tubeless ready tyres. The tyres are brilliant. The front end is genuinely really good because you
get that fancy cockpit, don't you? Which the bars move in and out. They're adjustable, and you can put it in a bike box easily.
Personally, I thought that the front end was a bit of a gimmick to start with because, like we've always done, is basically go as narrow as you can and slam the front end. Most people don't do what we do, and I don't think most people are as confident with taking a hacksaw to the front end as we are.
I have made some mistakes in the past.
Yeah, the fact that you can height adjust it as well without any kind of real tools needed is really good. It allows you to play with your position and get yourself kind of dialed at the front end really, really nicely without all of those tools.
The only thing we would change is the Garmin mount, computer mount, which sits up at that angle. So other than that, brilliant bike.
So you've saved maybe a watt by integrating all the cables and making it really difficult to work on.
And you look like a chopper.
And then you put the Garmin like that, which is going to cost you...
We're sure there's going to be some aftermarket options.
Yeah, hopefully. And hopefully Canyon will sort it. Also, the bottle cages don't fit standard bottles, and that really annoys me. But it's nice to see that
these
they
are
come
little
with,
things, though.
It is.
In the grand scheme
and
of
it's
things.
nice that it comes with bottles to fit the carbon cages. Moving on. Do you want to introduce us to the next one?
Oh, yes, please. Right, let's take a look at one way to carry your bike on your car.
Yes, absolutely. Because let's be honest, carrying your bike on your car is something that you need to do for most people once a year.
So the Thule Easyfold XT3 is a beefy tow bar mounted rack that will easily lug you around, well, a 3-bike collection.
Yeah.
It's very well engineered, easy to use, and so if you have the cash, this is definitely one to consider.
So the Easyfold XT3's big feature compared to other kind of high-end rear racks is that it folds up for storage. So if you are someone that has one of these and puts it in the garage and takes it out for a family holiday or a trip to go mountain biking, whatever, you're not going to be taking up a huge amount of garage space, which is quite nice.
That is ideal. So how big is it?
It is some dimensions which have gone off the auto cue. 87 centimetres by 31 by 84. So cuboid.
84. Yeah,
it's
that's smaller than
some
most
dimensions.
Anyway, your bikes are held at the bottom by ratchet straps around the wheels, that's quite normal, and at the top by clamps attached to arms that mount on the rack's frame.
Yeah.
It's dubbed ActuTight, and the clamps click when they've reached sufficient torque to hold the bike so that you don't over tighten them and risk damaging thin-walled frame tubes.
Let's be honest, that is brilliant. More on bike racks in a bit, but this is a very good one if you've got the money, really.
Anyway, time for a recommended route now, and it's over to Northern Ireland to visit our very own Ryan Mallon.
So this month's recommended route and cafe takes us to the Dramara Hills of County Down. At just over 40 miles, the route is basically a modified, shorter version of the popular Dramara Hilly and its big brother, the more sportive. So if you haven't guessed already, it's tough. With some spectacular green scenery to take in on the slower sections, right to the foot of Dree Hill. Dree is just over 2 miles long and it never gets any easier. Grab a well-earned lunch and coffee at Blue Cedar, a popular haunt for local cycling clubs located right in the centre of town. So after all that climbing, I was just happy with my chocolate orange blondie.
Oh, that looked like quite a nice route, actually.
Yeah, I don't like to admit that Ryan found quite a good one.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Yeah, it does look good.
This
This MiRiDER ONE GB3 adds 3 gears and a host of other spec upgrades to a funky looking magnesium frame that we loved in the original single speed version. Other additions include a belt drive, hydraulic disc brakes, which goes a long way to justifying the price hike to £2,494.
I mean, we really love a folding e-bike here at road.cc, and Jamie, as an engineer, you're going to love this one even more.
Oh boy.
So the 3-speed FNEO GTRO gear unit is housed within the chainset body and manages to get a planetary gear setup into a space only about 15 millimeters deep and a diameter as like a medium-sized chainring. So in short, it's really good engineering.
That is genuinely very good.
Yeah. And the best bit about it being a planetary gear is you get a belt drive system.
This one has a Kevlar C drive.
Whoa.
Yeah, and although belt drives are said to be a little less efficient than a good old chain drive, it's hard to detect any extra drag, especially on e-bikes, as the motor assist tends to cancel out any extra stiction from the belt.
Let's be honest, we just want the zero maintenance and no rust of everyday use.
It's really ideal for a commuter or something like that. The GB3 also gets a new colour LCD display, upgraded lightweight, easy to fold pedals, and a redesigned magnet system with a lip on the rear element which helps keep the folded package all together and
together. I tell you what, it's a good month for Canyon. The Commuter 5 has also made the grade. This is a fast and lightweight urban bike that provides the performance that people who are ready to splash about £1,000 on a Commuter are probably looking for.
It's also another bike with a hub gear and a belt drive. We really do rate them for this type of daily riding.
Absolutely. The Commuter 5 is the most satisfying hub-geared bike that our tester has ridden to date. That is quite something.
High praise.
Part of that is down to the Gates carbon belt drive, which offers faultless transmission of power. But he also thinks that the greater part of it is due to the fantastic frame and the overall exuberant ride.
And once again from Canyon, the spec sheet is really good. Great brakes, lovely tyres. It's a winner all round, really.
I have to say, I need to mention it because otherwise the comment section will be ablaze. This commuter bike doesn't come with mounts at the back for a rack. You can have mud guards, but you won't be getting panniers on this thing, which is a bit weird. But
that does feel like a bit of an admission.
It is, but the ride quality of the bike has kind of saved it and is the reason it's here. And if we reviewed it as a standard flat bar bike, we'd only be singing its praises.
I think it's a good outright bike in its own right.
Yes.
It's only really a commuter because it says commuter in the name.
Yeah.
But it's very good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, commute with a backpack.
Right, it must be time for some buying advice now. And this month, as you might have guessed from our earlier hint, it's how to transport your bike on your car.
Yeah, it's a subject that's close to our hearts, I think.
Well, I put mine in the boot. But
okay, so it's a subject close to my heart. But, you know, you put yours in the boot. What about people like me that are always carting multiple bikes around?
Yeah, mine get scratched up in the boot. But anyway, okay, I guess it makes sense to chat about this then. You've got a few options. There are tow bar mounted carriers, though you'll need a tow bar.
Yeah.
There are racks that strap onto the back of your car. There are carriers that use suction to attach to the roof. And finally, there is what you have, which is a roof bar mounted carrier.
Yes, the best kind. Not that I'm
Buying advice done.
Obviously, if you've got a big car, like your Mini, you can completely kind of disregard this advice and just put the bike or bikes inside the car.
It's like a TARDIS.
Yeah. If you're going to be filling up the kids... Filling up the kids?
Oh, no!
But if you're filling up the car with kids and luggage, then you do need to listen up.
Yes, shall we go through the pros and cons of each system?
I think that would be kind of helpful.
Yeah, let's kick off with roof racks then, as you've got one.
So the main advantage for the roof carrying system is that the bike is actually clear of the car, so it won't damage your paintwork. Roof bars can be used to carry plenty of other things too, from like skis to sofas if you're carting around general things. My roof carrier can, well, my Fiesta can now carry like 4 bikes, which would have been impossible before.
And if you're in the Pro Tour, then you can carry 8 bikes and 16 wheel sets, and that's an exaggeration. That's not factually correct.
They get them like custom made, don't they?
Yeah.
There is a company, I can't remember what the company's called, which is really useful for the buying of
Apparently you've got to have a Skoda.
Yes, yeah, I want a Skoda. But it's also very secure. So you can lock them on, and then you can put a bike lock around them if you want.
Disadvantages. You have to be careful driving out of multi-storey car parks.
You do.
Etc. The amount of frames we've seen broken is horrific.
I'm always tempted to like put a piece of paper on my steering wheel with bikes written on it.
I knew someone who had a roof rack. They didn't have the bikes on it, but they took their car through a car wash, and it picked up the car on the roof
God,
rack thing.
That's great. Yeah, the other disadvantage, though, more practical disadvantage to that, is that you've actually got to pick the bike up. Now, with a lightweight bike like ours, road bikes, cyclocross bikes, whatever.
I guess if you've got an
e-bike. E-bikes.
Yeah.
If my parents, for example, wanted to hike their bikes onto the top of the car, I don't think they'd be able to. That's also an issue if you've got a taller vehicle like a 4x4. Fuel consumption is also an issue on longer journeys. You can't see the bikes as well, which is scary. And yeah, like you said, car park barriers are...
I think that's the big one for me.
An actual
I wouldn't
fear
remember that. Right, onwards. Let's look at the ones that go on the back of your car.
Yeah, and not via a tow bar. So just like... I think these fit to loads of vehicles as well. So these are quite universal. They are easy to load, a bike onto them, because you don't actually have to lift your bike that far. You certainly don't have to lift it above your head, which is quite nice. So better for heavier bikes. There is less effect on fuel consumption than the one that I've got, which if you're doing long journeys like I did to the Alps, that can...
You do it with a bike rack?
Yeah, with the roof bar. Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
The bikes are visible in the mirror, so you can see if anything weird is going on.
I still would lock them though.
Yeah.
There's reports of like when people pull up to red lights and someone nicks the bike off the back, and then they're quite hard to catch because they're on a really fast bike.
So one of the disadvantages is that the rack can mark your car.
Yeah, or damage your bikes.
Yes, with loading and unloading.
Yeah, and
with rare exceptions, you can be limited to 3 bikes.
Yep. And it can also limit your access to the boot whilst they're on there.
Oh, and number plates.
Yeah, you might
and
need a board.
Because that can be illegal.
And keep it away from your exhaust. They're really hot.
Rear tyres, I imagine they don't like that. Anyway, shall we move on to tow bar ones?
Yes, please. Now? Yeah, it's really easy to load your bikes as they don't need to be lifted once again. And again, a similar fuel consumption to your boot mounted rack. Again,
visible in the mirror so that you can check them. I always find tow bar mounted systems, especially like that Thule that we saw earlier, is very, very secure. It seems to kind of keep the bikes separated really, really nicely.
Yeah, well, they're designed for it.
Yeah.
But they're easy to fit and nice and secure. Just remember when you're reversing. We hope that helps, and let us know what your bike rack choice is in the comment section below. Next, though, we have a Garmin Forerunner 955 Solar. It's an extremely powerful multi-sport smartwatch with a huge scope of customization. The health data is presented in a much more user-friendly format than on previous Garmin watches, and you get this new solar power feature, though how beneficial this is obviously will depend on the weather.
Yeah. I really personally like a smartwatch for cycling, but I know you're kind of like
I like
heavy in it.
Yeah, a proper computer.
I mean, while the variety of data it can collect may seem overwhelming at first, the data fields are in subcategories, enabling you to find what is important to you. For example, for me, pace, power, heart rate, speed fields. The defaults for each sport are quite sensible. They've got sensible suggestions in them, and you can have lots of screens capturing kind of different data types, such as totals or averages.
Great if you do multi-sport as well.
Yeah, because it's just one device for all the sports, and especially for me in cyclocross season now, if you're blessed with 2 bikes and you're changing bikes in the pits.
Yes.
I know that's very niche, but it's very useful for that too.
And you're running.
Yeah.
Can you log your runs as well?
I don't think...
Run up the hill,
what we don't,
jump over that barrier.
What we need for my running is not a device, it's more like...
a Segway.
No, it's more like
a calendar maybe. The diameter of this watch is 46.5mm, which is a good balance between having a screen big enough to display all the desired data and something that you'll actually wear every day. The touchscreen is sensitive and works well, responding when required, but never unintentionally triggered or by rain. So you can also read your notifications on your watch, and the touchscreen's really useful when you're doing that. So you don't have to reach for your phone.
Yes.
So, though we're not sure how much you'd actually use the touchscreen whilst you're doing activity.
Yeah, depends how hard you go.
But it's got buttons for that, so
yeah,
perfect.
On that note of the touchscreen, you can set it to be active depending on the sport. So if you prefer it to be off when you're running, but on when cycling, for example,
be good.
That is no problem.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Another thing that's really good is the mapping with clear turn notifications, though you'll be best served by a proper cycling computer for this.
I'll agree with you on that.
Yes.
I have to say, one thing I love about Garmin watches is that you can connect these up to external heart rate monitors and power meters thanks to the Ant Plus and Bluetooth connectivity. The actual wrist-based heart rate during our testing, surprisingly accurate.
In terms of battery life, Garmin quotes 20 hours and then 22 hours with the solar charging, assuming that you get 3 hours per day exposure in 50,000 lux conditions for multi-band GPS mode. Those conditions equate to a not so sunny, overcast day, and our testing suggests that they are actually pretty accurate.
Yeah, it would be useful to have the watch kind of tell you how much charge or minutes of battery life the sun has added to your watch each day, which is a feature that you'll find on the Edge 1040 Solar and the Phoenix 7, but that is a small thing.
Now, our product of the month is a high-speed road bike that can actually tackle some rough stuff with an awesome ride quality wherever you take it.
It's only the Fara F/R, or FAR.
FAR, I think.
It stands for all road, and it's an absolute cracker. It feels like a race bike on the road, but it can transfer that performance to hard-packed tracks and trails through its ability to swallow 38mm tyres. The ride quality is awesome, as is the handling, and for a bike shod with rubber that big and a fully electronic group set, it's actually impressively light too.
I love bikes like this.
Oh, no surprise there. The acceleration is brisk, not only because of the 8.1 kilo weight, but also thanks to the stiffness in the frame, with the large bottom bracket shell and compact rear triangle keeping things tight. It doesn't feel like the Fara is wasting any of the power you're putting through the pedals.
You don't want that.
No.
The geometry is similar to that found on an endurance road bike, with a front end that is balanced between quick handling for fun in the bends and on descents and stuff, and enough stability and poise that it inspires confidence on rough roads and riding on loose surfaces.
So Stu told me that he spent the majority of the test period riding the Far on the road, both main and kind of country lanes, and it was an absolute joy. In fact, I saw him the other day and we were chatting about this bike. He said it's one of the most comfortable and fun bikes that he has ridden in a long time.
He rides a lot of bikes.
He does
as well.
ride a lot of bikes.
He gets through so many.
So this is designed for big miles, and it's no surprise to find that the frame is adorned with mounting points. You get 2 bottle cage positions on the down tube and seat tube as usual, plus another set under the down tube for carrying a bottle or tool pack.
On the top tube, you'll also find mounts for a bento box, is that what you call it? Plus, you get 3 mounting points on each fork leg. The Fara will also take mud guards.
That's really good. The Fara is available as a frame set only option for £2,519 direct from Norway. Norway has a free trade agreement with the UK, one of the only ones.
Thanks, Boris.
So inclusive of that, so no hidden charges.
Excellent. There are a range of SRAM builds ready to go, or you can do a custom build with Shimano or SRAM. Builds start from around £3,200 with Shimano Ultegra mechanical and an alloy wheel set. However, our build is based around the SRAM Force AXS ETAP wide group set, and this cost £4,644.
I have to say, a worthy winner of our product of the month. As ever, the full reviews of these products can be found over at road.cc recommends. There is a link in the description below.
And as always, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and we'll see you in the next one.